Kenny Omega is returning to AEW in some major news for the company. It looks like they are about to get back one of their biggest stars, all while two of their other biggest stars seem to be leaving in the Young Bucks. So Kenny Omega coming back in, the Young Bucks potentially leaving. We're going to talk about what all of this means, all of the details about these situations, and when could we see Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks back in AEW once again together. All that and much more coming up right here in this video. So be sure to smash that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right. First things first, we have not seen Kenny Omega ever since he was injured, quote unquote, by the Elite, Kazuchika Okada, the Young Bucks, and Jungle Boy, a Scapegoat, Jack Perry, a couple of months ago. He was written off of TV. He, of course, has been dealing with diverticulitis over the past year, but there have been rumblings as well as Omega making many public appearances that have led many to believe that he could be returning to AEW very soon. Well, now we have some reporting to actually back that up. So according to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, here is an excerpt from that. Omega is talking about his comeback as if it's a thing, rather than a possibility, so it should be relatively soon. The idea all along has been set up a fifth match with Kazuchika Okada, although that is quite the standard those two have to live up to. So Dave Meltzer saying that Kenny Omega and his return are less of a, it might happen, we don't know when, to more of a, it's going to happen and expect it to happen at some point relatively soon. Now, of course, relatively soon has different meanings to different people. However, the way I interpret that and the way that I think this is going to play out is we are going to see Kenny Omega at some point before the end of the year. Not only because he is one of AEW's biggest stars, they have missed him dearly, and God knows the television has missed him, and they need to get back to having, one of the more stacked rosters in professional wrestling history in order to capitalize on the success of this new TV deal, all of the new exposure they're getting and whatnot. But also, and more importantly, I think we're going to get him back because it's been set up already. And one thing that, has kind of been lost in the hullabaloo, hoopla, and hootenanny of AEW in recent months has been Omega came out with a video with Hiroshi Tanahashi basically saying that he is going to be at Wrestle Kingdom on January 1st, or on the January 4th show, and he is going to be involved in a match with the Young Bucks. Well, they didn't say exactly match, but he said it's going to be Tanahashi and Kenny Omega facing off against the Young Bucks. So while they didn't imply it was a match, it's basically building up to a match. So I'm going to say it's a match. Whatever. I can be wrong about this. It's fine. I don't care. I'm a commentator, not a reporter. But regardless, Omega is, building up and hyping up this encounter, whatever it's going to be with the Young Bucks at the Wrestle Kingdom show. You have Omega in Japan claiming that he is there in order to get more gear, which also signals that he could be leaning towards a return and prepping for a return. You have videos and pictures and photos of circulating of him in the ring coming from his best friend, one of his best friends, Kota Ibushi, who basically said that he is returning to AEW as soon as Kenny Omega is, and that they are both training together. So all of that, along with this report from Dave Meltzer, who obviously is very well sourced when it comes to the Elite. I don't think there's many people in professional wrestling media who know and understand the Elite and Kenny Omega better than Meltzer does. This, to me, speaks to the idea that he is going to come back before the end of the year, and I could very well see them immediately involving Omega as a leader in this feud with what formerly, I guess, was known as the Blackpool Combat Club and is now known as the Death Riders. That would be Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Marina Shafir. And I think him and Ibushi would come in and try to act as a star force against what would be Moxley. And I think, as we talk about AEW and like their next big pay-per-view, Full Gear, it's in a major market. I think right now they've sold right around like 6,000 tickets for that show, and that's an arena where a couple of years ago they had over I think 11 to 12,000 tickets sold for this very same show back in 2022. So you want to build up hype, you want to build up speculation, you want to sell some damn tickets. I think teasing and basically implying that Kenny Omega is going to be there would be major and definitely a way to achieve that and at least get somewhere close to a 10,000 person ticket sale number, which is what they want. And that's a major market for them as well. So I think all those factors to me speak to Omega probably returning either at Full Gear or around Full Gear. And I think by World's End, he will at least be in the mix because he's supposed to be having at least some sort of encounter. I don't know what it is going to encounter with the Young Bucks at some point with Tanahashi. So that's where we're at there, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, Kenny Omega, one of my favorite stars, and someone who I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, he's there at Full Gear, where I'm going to be live in the Prudential Center at Newark, New Jersey. I got those mixed up. But, guys, speaking of Newark, New Jersey, speaking of Full Gear, if you guys are headed there, or if you guys are thinking about going, boy, do I have a deal for you. $20 off by using the promo code REALTAKE. Let me tell you something, guys. If you guys like to go to wrestling shows as much as I do, and God knows I do, this is the best way for you guys to get the best experience possible, understand exactly what you're buying, and also save some cash as well. You can get $20 off by downloading SeatGeek using the promo code REALTAKE. The link is in the description. All you have to do is click it, download the app. You get $20 off by using the promo code SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an awesome app. I use it myself. I love to use it because it rates those tickets on a scale of 1 to 10, tells you exactly the kind of deal you're getting compared to all of the other tickets that are available in the arena. Fantastic tickets, fantastic price, and amazing deal. There we go. Because you get $20 off using the promo code REALTAKE. That promo code is exclusive to this channel. So, guys, get it, use it, download the app, create a new account, whatever you got to do, use the promo code REALTAKE. Save yourself $20 today. All right. So, we were talking about Kenny Omega, and I mentioned the Young Bucks quite a few times. Well, they also factor in pretty heavily into this news update because the Young Bucks are gone. Yes, you heard me right. They're gone. Finito. Done. Out of here. Well, at least for a little bit. Here's what's going on. So, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter said, quote, about the Young Bucks and them kind of being gone from AEW for the next little while. There is no set timetable for a Young Bucks return past it'll be for a while, and they aren't scheduled for the AEW Full Gear show. It'll be no longer than January since they are confirmed for the joint AEW New Japan show at the Tokyo Dome, which again, excuse me, I said Wrestle Kingdom earlier. I meant Wrestle Dynasty, which is like the next day after Wrestle Kingdom, so I kind of got it right. Basically, that's what Meltzer's implying. Wrestle Dynasty, they're supposed to be there. This is supposed to be a major showing, and the Young Bucks obviously are still a big draw in Japan. So for them and for that market, you would want the Young Bucks there, but they just wrote them off of TV. And it is in the midst of them losing their AEW World Tag Team Championships. It is in the midst of this Death Rider story that I was talking about. And it's also in the midst of probably one of the most disappointing runs or if not the most disappointing runs that the Young Bucks have ever had. I'll be honest. I was very much looking forward to this EVP gimmick. When they first came out at the Dynamite Homecoming show back in January, I thought that this was going to be them turning all of the criticisms that the fans had about them, about them being like marks, about them being trolls, about them being, in creative control and all that kind of stuff, and turning it on their head. And in the beginning, we got a taste of that. And the first couple of promos were really good. Then as we went on, and as the story dragged, and boy did it drag, it got to a point where the Young Bucks were not even a part or a main focal point of AEW television, where it felt like they were just holding the AEW World Tag Team Championships just to hold them. It got to a point where Kazuchika Okada, who at one point was one of the best pro wrestlers in the world, I still believe he's still that level today, but was being presented as just like another guy. And instead of the Young Bucks, succeeding in this hostile takeover, like you look over and you see the Death Riders, you see Jon Moxley, you see Pac, you see Claudio, you see Wheeler, you see Marina Shafir, and you're like, okay, those are the real guys who are trying to take over. Those are the real people here who are trying to invade and take control of AEW. The Young Bucks are just unserious. They became jokes and a parody of what wrestling fans called them online. They were a parody of a parody, and it's unfortunate. I do think, though, that this is a major chance for them to restart and reboot this gimmick and do it in a way that leads to, obviously, an encounter with Omega and Tanahashi, whatever it's going to be, but at the end of the day, reuniting the Elite. Because if there's one thing that's true, AEW is at its best and at its strongest when the Elite are a unit, when the Elite are together, whether they're heels, whether they're faces, and I'm not talking about like the new Elite. I am talking about Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page. That's who I'm referring to when I'm talking about the Elite. Cody Rhodes, when he was there, obviously, that's not a possibility. He's not there. But when those guys are there and they're together, that is when AEW television is at its best. That is when the stories matter the most. And that is when we get those guys at their best. So, in my view, I think that is what this is leading to. I think the Young Bucks are basically going to get a bit of a gimmick restart. And they are going to come back and help Kenny Omega see the error of their ways and then save AEW. But we'll see what happens here, guys. Obviously, there's so much more about to happen over the next couple of months. There's this lockbox that I really cannot wait to talk about. But with Marina Shafir, there's rumors about Shane coming in. A lot to talk about. I'll be talking about all of that on my weekend show Saturday morning at 11 a.m. So be sure to check that out. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Guys, let me know in the comment section, though, what you guys thought of these reports. What do you think about Kenny Omega returning? Who would you like to see him face? What would you like to see him do? How would you like to see him return? And for the Young Bucks, let me know what you guys would like to see with them when they eventually do return to AEW. Until then, be sure to leave a thumbs up, help the video see more people, reach more people. That's what I was trying to say. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. And until next time, everyone, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.